Hey everybody, my name is Genevieve Mack. I'm the Director of Browser and Web Platform at Magic Leap, and I'm here today to talk to you about WebXR and Spatial Web. So first of all, what the heck do you guys do all day? Most of us spend most of our time on the internet. Actually, there's like email, Twitter, social media, looking up sports, watching video, doing work. Some people even code on the internet. Looking up weird WebGL projects, arguing with people on Reddit. All of this is done on the internet, and all of this is done on flat screens. So in short, the flat web is incredible, right? There's all kinds of stuff: productivity, communication, learning. And now we need to figure out how is this going to fit into AR, right? Now that we have Magic Leap devices, all these other AR devices that are headsets, how do you fit all of the utility and all of the goodness into these devices? So there's really two ways of going about doing it. And much like Martha and Snoop, they're complementary. And that is the Immersive Web and the Spatial Web. So first of all, WebXR. Many of you may have heard of WebXR. It's not just a buzzword for everything in XR or AR or VR that's on the web. It's actually a specific device API that lets you build immersive web experiences. So it lets you build completely immersive, stereoscopic, 3D, high FPS, low latency, multi-user, cross-platform web experiences. Everything you'd want to ever build, really. It allows you to write it with JavaScript. It's delivered over the web, so you don't have to build applications. And it's rendered in almost every single browser. So it looks something like this. If you're wearing a Magic Leap device, you can have like two people all looking at the same data visualization at the same time, even from different angles. And then you can take that exact same experience and render it on a mobile device with the same interactions you would, say, on a phone. So Magic Leap's Helio browser supports WebXR today. We support the WebXR core, the WebXR AR module, and we're getting full support for the WebXR Gamepad module coming in our next release. So today, you can build these kinds of experiences. We also have some frameworks that we support. So many developers don't want to create sort of WebXR experiences from scratch. WebXR uses low-level WebGL. Not everybody wants to write WebGL code. So 3JS and Babylon.js are sort of higher-level JavaScript frameworks that have been created to give you higher-level game engine type constructs and higher-level language constructs. A-Frame is built on top of 3JS, and that gives you a declarative language to build like VR type experiences. So WebXR is not done. It is still a specification under discussion at W3C. There's still a whole bunch of APIs that we want to add to this specification that don't exist yet. Those include anchors, plane detection, hand meshing, hit testing, layers, and many, many more. So if you want to contribute to the discussion, if you're interested in building immersive web experiences, you can join the conversation at W3C in the Immersive Web group. And you can also find examples and different experiences at immersiveweb.dev. All right, so that's really cool. A cool way to build immersive experiences. But what about the existing web? What about all that content I talked about before? How do you get that content onto an AR device? Especially if you don't want to rewrite your entire experience. So welcome to something at Magic Leap we're calling the Spatial Web. And we want you guys to claim your space. We want you to use all of the space around you and not be limited to your cell phone or your physical screens or even like however many monitors you can afford to put up. And so this end, in the Magic Helio browser, you can take any web page and put it in the space around you. If you could run this video. So here, this was during the last hurricane, Dorian, and I was trying to decide what to do with myself and whether to stay or to go. So I was able to open multiple web pages from different domains, so different websites, and arrange them around me in my 3D space. So you can really build out like cool Minority Report style layouts and view all the information at your fingertips. So you don't have to be Tony Stark, to see everything that you want all around you. Today, you can do that with the Magic Leap device. So after looking at all the projections, I ended up deciding to get the hell out of Dodge and leave. So what if you are a content provider? If you've already got existing content and you want to start to spatialize that and unflatten it to make it 3D in this new 3D world. So at Magic Leap, we've created something called the Spatial Web Development Platform. And this is a series of APIs, extensions, and frameworks that let you take your existing content with your existing CMS, your existing backends, your existing developers, and your existing interaction paradigms, and build out really cool, spatialized 3D experiences. I could go on for quite some time. There's a lot of APIs and a lot of new things. But I really want to talk about these 3 big game changers that we've created today. And that is detached divs, adding 3D models, and page orientation. So I don't know how many of you guys are web developers, but there already exists a CSS API that lets you have 3D, to place things in 3D space, to place HTML elements in 3D space. But what happens on a flat screen is those get placed in 3D space, and then they get flattened back to the screens. So the experience ends up being flat again. So what we've done is we've added a new attribute to the CSS specification called transform style detached. And what this lets you do is actually detach those 3D elements from the web page and place them in 3D space. And this supports any HTML element, divs, it supports video, images, text, anything you might expect it to support. And you can see in this capture, you can actually take this video off a page and put it in 3D space. We also support CSS animations. So this cube you see is not a model that we plopped into a page. It's actually like a bunch of HTML elements that we've animated so they rotate around like a cube. And coming soon, in their next release, we're going to start adding interactions to these detached surfaces. The next thing I want to talk about is 3D models. So we wanted to make it as easy as possible to add 3D models to your web page. And we've done this with something called this Prismatic library. So Prismatic is an open source JavaScript library. So we open sourced it. It's released today. You can modify it as you wish. Which gives you a bunch of declarative tags, much like an image tag. We created an ML model tag to add any 3D model to your page. And these, I talked about it last year, but this year we've completely rewritten it, completely re-architected it, so it loads faster, it runs more models at the same time, it supports instancing, which some of you guys might be familiar with. You can show up pages with models on them, and you can even run animations. So this capture right here is a wild feral hog that's going to come and attack your yard. And actually, when you point at it with a raycast, it runs the animation that's baked into the model. And then when you take the raycast off of it, the animation pauses. This capture here is a 3D model that's coming through a transparent video. So you can take any video and set parts of it transparent. And then you can animate the model along with the video's keyframe, so you can have 3D models and stuff coming out of your page. And finally, I want to talk about setting page orientation. And this is actually one of the simplest APIs we have. It's really, really simple. All it does is it lets you take a page and put it from vertical to flat. But as you can imagine, once you have a page flat, you could spread it out on a table or on the ground, and you can walk around in it. It's really useful for anything you might have that you want to see horizontally. So in this example here, it's just a button that takes a page and puts it flat. There's also a 3D model on that page, and you can see it also rotates with the page. So putting it together, with these 3 things, you can really build compelling 3D websites. And we started working on a few examples internally, and I want to show you an early prototype of something that we've been working on. So this is a map. It's a web page with a map, and all we've done is we've rotated that map flat. And this map is generated using standard mapping libraries. This is D3 generated, so it outputs an SVG. And then when you click on each state, it shows a detached div in 3D space, right over where the most populated city is, and it gives you the temperature and weather for that particular city. And that's it. That's just like two simple things that combined, you can build a compelling spatialized 3D experience. So whether it's immersive or flat or spatial web, Magic Leap supports it all. We don't think these are competitive approaches. We want you guys to pick the best development stack for your project and for this problem you're trying to solve. No matter what it is, Magic Leap intends to build the best experience for the web that we possibly can. We also support web apps, so you can take any of your websites, whether it's flat web, spatial web, or immersive, and wrap them into a progressive web app and distribute it that way. As well, later on this year, we'll be adding support for web apps to our application store, which is called Magic Leap World. And you'll be able to distribute your apps and monetize them later this year. So we believe strongly in open standards, and we are part of W3C. And to that end, we've made some of the proposals for spatial web to W3C. You can take a look at them and comment if you have anything to say about them. There's detached surfaces. We also have some proposals around media queries and 3D fab icons and a few other things. So make stuff. So that's cool. How do you start making stuff? We have an API site, magicleaphelio.com/docs. This provides a listing of every single web API that we've ever created, including some for WebXR. We have a live developer sample site. So if you view this on the Magic Leap device, you'll see all these samples and experiences in 3D. If you view them on a desktop, they'll just be flattened into your screen. There's also the developer portal. The developer portal contains guides and tutorials. So if you're looking for more of a walkthrough on how you get started, check out the developer portal. As well, we partnered with Glitch. So we put a bunch of our examples on Glitch. And for those of you who are familiar with it, it basically spins up your own server for you. You don't even have to spin up your own web server. You can take any of our samples and remix them and start hacking away and fiddling around. So thank you very much for listening to me today. My name is Genevieve.